News Headlines is presented by Calvo's Insurance, serving Guam for 80 years. Matson and the Adai Itano program. All new 2018 Kona by Hyundai, available at Cars Plus. IP&E Fueling Excellence, McDonald's of Guam, I'm Loving It, and King's Restaurant, located in Tamuning and Dededo. Always open, always local.
Ahead on Primetime, the public auditor announces her bid for Washington delegate, the GEC now scrambling to add the position she will leave vacant to the ballot this election. Plus, the latest on a complaint filed with the Election Commission after allegations made by the administration's former communications director. And the suspects accused in the largest cocaine bust in GPD history answer to the charges in court.
Hafaday and good evening.
Well, she leads a team that inspects and audits the government. In a surprising twist, the public auditor is stepping down and running to be the next representative in the nation's capital.
Doris Flores Brooks closing the books on her time at the Guam OPA. Her decision now leaves the Guam Election Commission with more to prepare for this election season. She's closing the books.
I am resigning.
And starting what she's calling her next big adventure. Public Auditor Doris Flores Brooks, in a press conference on Wednesday, officially announced her bid for Congress on the Republican ticket.
Opportunity only comes once in a lifetime, and the door was knocking, and I felt I needed to take that opportunity. What took me so long was leaving this fantastic office.
Her last day at the Office of Public Accountability will be June 8th. Temporarily in her place, her deputy.
Yuka Hechanova. Yuka, stand up again. Yeah. She's the deputy.
Guam Election Commission Executive Director Maria Pangilinan tells KUAM they're mandated by law to hold a special election to fill the vacancy.
It has to be held within 90 days of the effective resignation date.
That deadline conveniently falls around the same time as the primary election, set for August 25th.
We're looking into, as we speak, we are looking into seeing if the primary election will double as a special election by the mandate. That would save the government of Guam quite a bit of money. A special election by itself would cost over $100,000. And so I would need to take direction from the commission, the commissioners.
Brooks has served 3 terms as a senator in the Guam legislature and was first elected as Guam's public auditor in 2000. She's held the position since. When asked about her competition,
Well, I want to give the people of Guam an opportunity for a new choice. Given my knowledge and expertise of Guam's finances, I feel I can better articulate Guam's problems before the Congress. And then one of the things I want to focus on, for example, is we should get earned income tax reimbursement.
In response to Brooks' announcement, Congresswoman Madeleine Bordallo in a press release states, quote, I have dedicated my life to serving our people. I thank our community for the trust and confidence they have placed in me to represent them in Congress, and I hope they will continue to do so in this election, end quote. Bordallo will go head-to-head with Senator Michael Nicholas, who has also announced his bid for Congress on the Democratic ballot. Meanwhile, also picking up packets for delegate are Jonathan Diaz, Republican, and Eric Lynn, undeclared. No filings have been made to date.
The Guam Election Commission won't be pursuing a complaint filed by Troy Torres. The former Adaloop staffer was arrested last month on drug charges, and since he was released, he's been on a mission to destroy the administration, making claims of corruption and cover-ups.
Kiani Mandiola has more.
Since the drug bust at his Lottie Heights home, Troy Torres has made wild allegations of a culture of corruption at Adaloop, a place he once worked as their head spin doctor. He's even admitted that when he first started Adaloop, he was high on the drug ice. With his credibility in question, though, he's been on a mission to take down those who were behind his arrest, which he claims was all political payback. You see, Troy may not be at Adaloop, but he's still in the political game. He worked for Senator Dennis Rodriguez Jr. as a staffer, but just weeks before his arrest, the lawmaker said he was no longer an employee. Torres, however, was also his campaign chairperson, which he says is a position he stepped down from. During a special meeting on Tuesday, the GEC board voted not to take up a complaint he filed requesting that one of their board members, specifically J.D. Tuncap, be removed. Tuncap is an employee at the Lieutenant Governor's office. Torres claims Tuncap acted as a messenger, contacting a known Rodriguez supporter to pass on that a contract for his now running mate David Cruz wouldn't be signed unless the senator voted in favor of the governor bill to raise taxes. Torres further alleges Tuncap also gave Rodriguez a heads up that Torres was going to be arrested. GEC Executive Director Maria Pangilinan said the issue is not under their jurisdiction.
With the legal counsel guidance, the commission unanimously approved a motion to write a letter to Mr. Torres to let him know that the complaint is outside the jurisdiction of the Guam Election Commission.
Torres today responded,
I just want to know who has jurisdiction then, and I think everyday people who have something to say about the government, some sort of complaint, need to know who they can bring it to, because I looked at the law, and in Title III under the Election Code, and it clearly says what all the violations are, the felonies and the misdemeanors for misconduct of elections, and it happened to involve one of the members of the Election Commission, and it also involves the Lieutenant Governor, the Governor, and to an extent Peter Alexis Atta. So if the GEC is now saying that they don't have jurisdiction over this, who does?
According to the GEC, Torres' allegations align more so on a criminal platform rather than just election violations. Torres adds that he will not be seeking legal counsel for these complaints, but will be seeking civil suits in the future. Meanwhile, Adelup has continuously denied any and all allegations by Torres, while Rodriguez stands by him. Reporting for Guam's News Network, I'm Kiani Mediola.
The group charged with what local authorities are calling the biggest cocaine bust on island appeared in court today. John Tanatango, Jonathan Menglotnia, Monica Canata, and Robert Afeisen pleaded not guilty to the charges. Danby Rojas, Jimmy Afeisen, Nicholas Frederick, Randall Fulcher Jr., and Carl Uggan, meanwhile, were appointed legal counsel and will answer to the charges on June 6th. Court documents state Robert Afeisen told police the drugs had washed onto his property. In total, 35 pounds of cocaine with a street value of $825,000 was seized.
It looks like the couple found with 8 pounds of meth will be tried again. Raymond Martinez and Juanita Moser will have to undergo a new trial with a new set of jurors. Chief Judge Francis Cinco Gaywood giving that order in court today. Now, when addressing counsels, the judge expressed her concerns of jury reselection in relation specifically to media coverage and the use of witnesses. Additionally, Martinez's attorney Pete Perez asked the government's witness, Torrance police officer Ryan Schmitz, be excluded from giving testimony, again after evidence of perjury was discovered by their expert witness, Sam Choi Estrelado. The trial is now set for July 5th.
Karina Lynn Tatao isn't leaving her fate to a jury. In court on Wednesday, Tatao entered a plea agreement with the government admitting to her role in a conspiracy to promote major prison contraband as well as drug possession. Quote, I placed it, end quote, she told the court, referring to 2 cell phones that were discovered in a Guam Memorial Hospital restroom to be picked up and brought to the prison compound. When confronted by authorities, court documents state she also admitted to being in possession of the drug ice. The agreement outlines a sentence range from 0 to 18 months with credit for time served. Tatao has already served 7 months in prison. Sentencing will be scheduled at a later date as the plea deal requires she testify against her co-defendants. A status hearing is set for July 26th.
Well, Chris, the millions of dollars in drugs making it here forced one lawmaker to introduce legislation he hopes would strengthen border security and put a stop to the drug smuggling on our island. Speaker B.J. Cruz introduced Bill 293, which would increase the passenger fee under the Guam Customs and Quarantine Agency, ensuring those at the front line have the funding they need to enforce our borders. Now, Customs reported they've had a sharp decline in drug seizures due to the lack of personnel available for inspections. Cruz's measure proposes to increase the passenger fee from $8.29 to $20 beginning October 1st of this year, allowing the agency to double their manpower.
The cyclist in Sunday's fatal motorcycle crash died from a skull fracture. This, according to Chief Medical Examiner Dr. Aurelio Espinola, performed the autopsy today and ruled the manner of death accidental. Damian, police say, was driving south when he lost control, ran off the roadway, and crashed in a ditch. He was transported to Naval Hospital, where he was later pronounced dead. The medical examiner was unable to confirm whether Damian was wearing a helmet. He He was only 32 years old.
One woman charged in a conspiracy to commit financial institution fraud will spend 3 years in jail. Ruby Nekmirkir was sentenced in federal court on Wednesday. From May 2014 to July of the same year, she and her co-conspirators attempted to collect $95 grand through 120 fraudulent checks. They did this by depositing bogus checks and withdrawing the cash based upon those checks. In addition to jail time, the court ordered she pay over $13,000 in restitution.
He was under house arrest for a January burglary ordered by the court to obey all the laws of Guam and not consume alcohol when he was allegedly caught trying to steal alcohol. Darwin Fortes is charged with third-degree burglary, criminal facilitation to commit robbery, retail theft, and committing a felony while on felony release. Court documents state police responded to a disturbance at the Payless in Dededo on Tuesday. It's there one man said the suspect and a minor left the store without paying for 2 bottles of liquor. He was able to take down the minor, but that's when the suspect is accused of punching the victim multiple times before other customers rushed to help. Hearts weigh heavy after a longtime health advocate loses her battle to cancer. We shared her story over the years, and tonight we honor her memory.
A tireless advocate for health and wellness on Guam, the community says goodbye to Roseli Zabala. The Public Health Services Administrator lost her battle with breast cancer. Public Health Acting Director Leo Casil received the heartbreaking news early Wednesday morning.
When you look for the words to describe her, but she was loyal in fighting these diseases, finding ways to combat them and in every way she can. And sometimes, she was very aggressive on these things. She wanted to combat it so bad because of the ill effects that it imposed on the community.
She shared her story of losing her husband to cancer and worked effortlessly in the fight against non-communicable diseases across the island. Her work was a tremendous value for the health community even after she too was diagnosed and forced to seek treatment in the Philippines. Casil saying she would constantly check in on her staff even while hundreds of miles away.
As if she was here, she would text us almost every chance that she can get.
She even headed the breast cancer prevention program during her battle.
We really miss her. We give, of course, our condolences to her family, and all of us wish her really well, and all the prayers. We're just gonna miss her, of her, because of her activity that she was doing, and to be, and to the community of Guam, just very, how should I say, active on it, and really personally involved, and wants to conquer, prevent all these diseases.
Public Health is planning a special event to honor Zabala's memory, the life of a hardworking woman, our 2014 KUAM Care Force Honors Award recipient. Zabala was also recently honored with the Lifetime Achievement Award by the National Association for Social Workers, Guam Chapter.
Stick around for more news here on Prime Time.
You're watching KUAM.
There are more ways to experience KUAM News than any other source on Guam. Download the KUAM News app for your Apple or Android device for 24/7 news, sports, videos, weather, streaming with KUAM radio, and important news alerts. And stay connected at home with Guam's first app for Apple TV. All available now from the App Store.
A simple handshake. That's all Jake Calvo needed when he started his company. Today, 80 years later, we like to say thank you to all of you who have taken our hand in trust. Thank you to the dreamers. Thank you to the realists. Thank you to the family-oriented. Thank you to the entrepreneurial. Thank you to those climbing the corporate ladder. And to the ones starting a new life together. Thank you to the traditionalists and the edgy. To the young at heart and the old souls. Thank you to the daring, to the protective, to the practical. Thank you to the hopeful. To all of you from all of us, our deepest, happiest, and infinite thanks.
80 years here for you. 80 years thanks to you. Calvo's Insurance, a legacy of trust.
It's a celebration at Cars Plus in Mighty. And during our Jeep Celebration event, you'll save thousands on every new Jeep in stock. Like a new 2018 Compass, save up to $3,750. Or save up to $4,000 on a new 2018 Cherokee. How about a new Renegade? Save up to $6,000. Plus, buy today and receive a Cars Plus value card where you get 21 cents off per gallon at all Shell stations. Hurry in for our Jeep Celebration event going on now at Cars Plus in Mighty. Cars Plus, driven by you.
There are more ways to experience Guam via KUAM News, giving you what you want, when you want, and how you want it. From smart devices, Alexa, what's in the news?
Here's your flash briefing.
Over the web, on mobile, on streaming platforms, with immersive, interactive formats, and via social media where it's more than just content, it's conversation. More ways to keep you informed and entertained whenever you want it, wherever you are, on whatever device you're using.
Hafide and welcome back. The series of oversight hearings with the Chamorro Land Trust Commission is over.
Yeah, the land officials going over the revenue and expenditures with senators during the hearing Tuesday night. The next step to right the wrong done to applicants skipped over on the waiting list. Talks over spending and the latest Guam OPA audit conducted on the CLTC. It was the third and final oversight hearing that CLTC Chair Pika Farron called invaluable, allowing them to focus on problematic areas. Though questionable awarding of leases for prime property in Barrigada Heights and elsewhere was the initial focus, senators pressed for answers on their spending habits. Speaker BJ Cruz also shared frustration he received from applicants who believe they were skipped over on the waiting list for CLT property.
At the last hearing, we had the list of people that were bypassed. And I was asking about a website that people can go to. I was wondering, is there any plan to publish that list? Because I've been receiving texts and messages and phone calls saying, I applied within the first 3 days of the opening. If they claim they don't know my phone number, I can give you my emails, my letters to them, telling them that this is the same address and I've not been notified.
And that is what we're hoping to do when we publish this new list, to clean up the list and get an accurate waiting list.
Oversight Chair Senator Tom Addett held the hearing to look at how the commission is complying with the program. Addett now hoping the discussion can be put into action.
That will provide the basis for moving forward as to what sort of legislative intervention might be appropriate, and also from the standpoint of the commission, what actions the commission is going to take moving forward to address the shortfalls of the program.
He says another hearing will be scheduled once lawmakers review information provided by the CLTC, then decide their next steps.
It has become abundantly clear that the Chamorro Land Trust Commission, of which I am the chairwoman, has a lot of work to do to improve the program. And as I admitted at the beginning of today's hearing, the Commission's management and oversight of our budget is not anywhere near where it should be. And the Commission is committed to become fully engaged in our budget process, making all of the decisions that that the Commission has authority to make. And we're putting together a strategic plan to address each of those issues, and I believe we're heading in the right direction, but I know it will take some time. It's going to take a lot of work on behalf of the staff and the administrative director, but I'm optimistic that we can get to a point where we can answer all of your questions and move forward and get this program back on track.
Congresswoman Madeline Bordallo announced today that Gov Guam has been awarded more than $400,000 from the U.S. Department of the Interior and the National Park Service. The funds are part of $48.9 million in historic preservation grants for U.S. states, territories, and partnering nations. The grants will be used to support local efforts on historic and cultural preservation on Guam. The historic preservation grants have helped protect the nation's diverse history and cultural heritage. These funds are supported by Outer Continental Shelf oil lease revenues.
Now with regional headlines, here's KSPN 2 News.
Half a day, Guam. Here's what's making news in the CNMI. All United States and CNMI flags are at half-staff until sunset, in respect for former Governor Pedro P. Tenorio's passing and funeral ceremony. On May 21st, 2018, former Governor Pedro P. Tenorio passes away at the age of 84. Today, his life and the legacy he leaves is recognized in the Mount Carmel Cathedral.
It's a sad day that we're bidding goodbye to an individual such as Governor Tenorio. He's the only person in history that served 3 terms as governor, and when he served in those terms, they were at very, very pivotal parts of our island's history.
A history that began when the late Governor Teno returned to Saipan and entered the political sphere.
He knew how to work with both sides of the aisle, and that was such a great political lesson for all of us, and for me in particular.
First serving the Congress of Micronesia, and then elected senator in the first Commonwealth legislature as vice president, and 2 years later, Senate president. Following in 1981, he received the title of governor, a title that continued for 3 terms. L.J. Castro, a relative, says he grew up looking up to the late governor for guidance and respect.
Humble person, a very great person, in every sense of the word, not just leadership-wise, but in a personable sense.
Castro takes comfort knowing that through his years of public service and a member of the community, Governor Teno rests, leaving the Marianas with memories, advice, and teachings.
The Commonwealth's voyage further into the future through all the knowledge he's imparted to everybody that came in contact with him.
All those in contact with him and the CNMI community pays tribute and shows appreciation today at his funeral.
The first teacher rep to be elected to the Board of Education, I owe all of that to him. He appointed me to be the first teacher rep, and I am so humble by what he did, to help me and to try and help teachers of the CNMI.
And the CNMI is forever inspired and always recognizing the humble statesman, Governor Teno.
He was one of our greatest governors and truly respected.
He was at the forefront of enhancing the tourism industry here on the islands. He saw us through some tough times during the economic slump that affected us for a good amount of over a decade. But throughout each and every challenge that he saw us through, he did it with dignity and grace. He was a statesman like no other.
Watch these top stories and more at saipantv.com. For KSPN2, I'm Adriana Cotero.
Sports is next, but first, here's a look at your island weather.
Super Sale event. Enjoy huge savings on our most popular Samsung Galaxy smartphones. But this offer won't last long. So drop into a GTA store today.
We're celebrating our 135th anniversary today, both in the outlying regions on which we hub and also here in Guam itself. It means so much to our team here in Guam. It means a lot to us in the Matson management team, because what it says is we're here to stay. It's a real physical manifestation of our commitment to this region. It's so important that we hire locally, we develop talent locally, we train locally. What's been a wonderful addition to our approach there is that many of the people who started off in Guam have gone off into significant leadership roles elsewhere in the company.
This is our headquarters here in Guam in Micronesia. And when we talk about putting down our roots, it's not just doing business, it's about everything we do with our friends, our customers, and our employees. I believe that nobody can replicate what we do, and that's why we have such a great team and such a great service and why we're successful. This is our home, this is our life, and we're happy to make a difference in everyone else's life.
In this divided world, there are still things that unite us. Great music, thrilling games, and the love for that perfect burger. Ruby Tuesday Guam, for the love of burgers menu. For a limited time, get an amazing burger for just $11.99. Lunchtime at Ruby Tuesday Guam.
KUAM Sports is presented by Triple J.
What's up, Guam? Dave Delgado here for KUAM Sports. Thanks for watching. FD's Kyle Guyton going to be playing some college basketball in the Philippines. I'll get to that in just a bit. But first off, some middle school boys basketball from the Tumuning Gym. Check it out. 7 teams taken to the court for the 2018 Pacific Invitational Tournament held at the Tumuning Gym. Mount Carmel, Yellow Jackets, Tumuning Typhoons, St. Paul Warriors, St. John's Knights, Phoenix, Anderson Dragons, and a visiting team from Manila, the YBC delegation. YBC delegation taking on the Anderson Dragons. CJ Brown off on the layup attempt. Teammate Ari Fulton gets the shot to go for the Dragons. The visiting squad from the Philippines taking advantage of the quick inbound. Jake Mangosing already past midcourt. Gets the long outlet pass and finished off the backboard for the bucket. YBC delegation picked up the win 39-29. Anderson Dragons player CJ Brown going all the way to the rack for the last score here in his team's losing effort. GPWA Basketball League over at the Agana Heights Gym. Battle for first between Super Soakers and SUA. SUA's Brian Mendiola works his way to the ball and drives baseline for the reverse lay-in. SUA with possession again, going back inside the paint. This time Jake Kanata puts up the shot off glass, assisted by Jason Tadella. Melker Blas cleaning up around the boards for Super Soakers. Off the miss, Blas with the Euro step after pulling down the rebound. Basket's good. SUA with the dub, 46-39. In other scores, Futgun beat out Guinea 32-29. Generation picked up the win over Admin 37-26. Big shout out to FD graduate Kyle Guyton, who accepted a scholarship offer from Enderun College in the Philippines. Guyton signed his letter of intent this morning at FD. He will be competing for a chance to start at the shooting guard position for the Titans. The scholarship is a 100% athletic scholarship with waived fees. The UOG Tritons continue to bolster their roster for the upcoming basketball season. The men's program is 30-0 since recruiting off-island talent. After adding point guard Logan Hopkins to the Tritons roster, UOG will now be adding Ramel Bateman, a 6'4", 220-pound forward nicknamed the Ox. Ramel is originally from New Jersey and was plagued by injuries throughout his college career, playing at Clarendale Junior College in Texas. He also had an injury-shortened season at Mercy College, NCAA Division II in New York. Ramel plans on playing 2 years for the Tritons as he works on his master's degree. The Napa Rovers defeated Lots of Art Heat 4-3 to secure their 5th straight Budweiser Soccer League title. With the score at 3-3 in the closing minutes of the match, the Rovers' Mark Chargaloff managed to maneuver through the Heat defenders to find an open shot on goal. Heat goalkeeper Ryan Root made a play on the ball, but before the Heat defenders were able to recover, Rovers' Matt Robles followed up with a right-footed shot inside the goal box for the eventual game-winning shot. Well, that's going to do it for sports. We're back right after this.
increase at Triple J. Buy now before the sales tax starts. 0 down, 1.9% financing, and easy trade-in. Now is the time to buy. Get into a 2018 Mazda CX-5 at our lowest price yet, only $19,995. Or our big boy truck, the Ford F-150, starting at $298 per paycheck. Or the North American Car of the Year, the 2018 Honda Accord at only $206 per paycheck. Beat the increase and buy now at Triple J. Visit us online at triplejguam.com and get pre-approved instantly. Trade-ins welcome. Some conditions apply. Triple J Auto Group. Customers first.
And before we close out the news tonight, our latest round of birthday shoutouts from the Cold Stone Creamery Birthday Club. Happy birthday, Jolene Mendiola. Plenty of love from your family, especially from your PTC crew. Xander O'Brien, happy 14th birthday to our son. We love you always and a day. Love Mom, Dad, Irfama, and O'Brien family. And happy belated birthday to Dolores Borja. Happiest of birthdays to the best Nana ever from Jonah and Isaiah.
Remember, you can be part of the Cold Stone Creamery Birthday Club by registering online on KUAM.com. Please make sure to include with your photo your name and birth date so we can celebrate you.
Yep. Well, that's going to do it for us here in the news desk. Stay tuned. Jason's next with Extra.
Closed captioning is brought to you by IT&E.
Half a day.